Welcome back to Crypto Talks by CryptoInspector, the show where traders, creators, and crypto fans come together to break down what's really happening in the space. Today's guest is someone who has been quietly shaping crypto adoption across Europe for years. I'm joined by George Agathangelou, General Manager of Teroxx Digital Assets Ltd, one of the few fully licensed CASPs under SciSec, with over 15 years in finance and fintech, and also a Bitcoiner since 2012, ladies and gentlemen. George brings a unique perspective on how crypto is evolving. George, welcome.
Thank you, Crypto Inspector. I love what you have done with the channel.
Thank you.
Real conversations, no hype, just pure information. So I'm quite excited for this discussion.
All right, so let's start with your story. You came from traditional finance, then moved into the crypto industry, and now you're leading one of Europe's licensed CASPs. How did that transition happen, George?
Well, I started in traditional finance, sales, trading, compliance,
Mhm.
operations. It was a great foundation, and it taught me the discipline of how critical trust is in financial systems. But it also showed me how outdated those systems were. Everything felt, slow, expensive, and far too closed off. And then I discovered Bitcoin, and this completely shifted my perspective.
Yeah.
Suddenly, it was a way for people to transact openly, transparently, and without the need for any intermediaries. So, this concept pulled me deeper down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, and eventually it became my full time path. At Terox, our focus is making crypto access simple and safe. We provide a regulated, personalized service, and this is the reason why we call ourselves the digital asset boutique. So
Mhm.
whether someone is an individual investor or a large institution, the goal is the same: clarity, education, and a smooth, compliant entry into the world of digital assets. My role in adoption is essentially to bridge the old world and the new. I
Mhm.
try to help people understand crypto, avoid the pitfalls, grasp self custody, and learn at their own pace. So, adoption grows when people feel both empowered and protected.
That's exactly what people need today, like the proper stuff and regulated. So let's start with going to the second question now. We're going to go, let's look at the big picture here. What does the next 5 years look like for crypto?
Well, it's always difficult to talk about the future, but I believe we are entering what we call the age of convergence. So
Yeah.
essentially, we have blockchain, AI, tokenization, and digital infrastructure merging into one single coordinated ecosystem. And once all those pieces aligns, I believe that growth becomes exponential. I think the biggest shift right now is regulation. Worldwide regulation is no longer a significant risk to harming crypto. This was one of the most significant concerns for us in the past, especially during 2022-23 years when we had the Biden administration and the SEC under Gensler that were very aggressive and they were coming after crypto companies.
Mhm.
And the rest of the world was mostly following the lead of the USA. Now, regulations are not perfect even today, but it is becoming crypto's safety net, I would like to
I
say.
mean, I want to ask George. I mean, before there was no regulation at all. It was impossible. It was something that doesn't exist. But
Yeah.
as we speak today, we have actual licenses in Europe. We have CASP in Cyprus. We have Mika, the state. So uh, tell us more about this, George. I mean, this is quite interesting. Like, it's a huge progress there.
Well, Mika is bringing a lot more structure to Europe, and
Hmm.
the other regions are following similar paths. So instead of slowing innovation, regulation is also providing credible companies, including Teroxx. So the framework is needed in order to scale responsibly. And when people feel protected, adoption naturally increases.
Exactly.
Another thing that we should definitely mention is the real world asset tokenization. And this is going to be massive. Treasuries, real estate, commodities are all becoming digital and globally accessible. What makes this so powerful is not just that they have become digital, but they're also at the same moment instantly transferable. They are open to everyone and they're available 24/7. So suddenly, assets that were reserved only for rich people or institutions are becoming accessible to the average Joe. Real
Exactly.
no longer has to be locked behind geography or huge capital requirements. For example, back in the days, I saw this project. I was able to do, a very small investment. I was just testing things out. So with 50 euros, I was able to buy a small share of a bungalow in Florida, and
Wow.
I'm still
Wow.
some rents out of it. Of course, it's a few cents every day, but it shows how with a very small amount you can actually invest in real estate, something that was not possible without this technology.
I want to say something about this. This is so true, George, and so fascinated. Like, real estate tokenization. I spoke with someone from Poland recently. He's going to the schools and he's actually teaching about crypto and real estate tokenization. I mean, and also in El Salvador, it's there. It's like the children are learning from school. It's like you learn maths, like you learn, grammar. Bitcoin is a course there, from children. I mean, we can imagine the new millennials, I mean, new people, generation, what they're gonna be doing.
Yeah,
This is
well,
quite
they're born
interesting.
into it and they didn't see it developing, right before their eyes.
100%.
Another major shift that I believe will happen within the next 5 years is the so-called interoperability.
Mm.
Right now, people still think about blockchains the way we were thinking about internet providers in the 90s. So I think that within a few years, no one will care which blockchain you're using.
Exactly.
Assets will be able to move across networks seamlessly without bridges or confusing steps. So you're gonna be just clicking the send button and the system will handle the rest behind the scenes. Blockchains will fade into the background, just like we're not talking about TCP/IP protocols
Yeah.
in the background of the internet. So when this complexity actually disappears, I think that's when adoption will really take off. Another important thing is the fusion of artificial intelligence and blockchains. AI systems need verifiable data, transparent decision making. You need to have the incentives there to make everything work. And this is what blockchain actually provides. A good example is the so-called B-Tensor network, which is
Mhm.
a centralized AI ecosystem where machine learning models train together and are rewarded on the basis of how useful they are. There are no gatekeepers, no opaque algorithms, no centralized control, and the result is that you have a global artificial intelligence brain that grows because people actually contribute to it and not
Interesting.
because a huge company controls it. And blockchain is the underlying technology that ensures that all these contributions of people are tracked They are valued and are rewarded transparently. And since we're talking about AI, we also need to mention AI agents. I believe we're heading into a world where AI tools inside our phone or devices will be able to handle tasks like rebalancing our portfolio, sending payments out, managing our savings, or interacting with smart contracts, all by themselves autonomously.
This is
And
so true. Allow me to say something. I just recently Coin Market Caps. I think you know them. They just deployed. I joined their beta AI guy agent who's actually I'm actually using him. Like he tells you everything about your portfolio, what's going on, what are the good assets, which are the hedge and all that. So we used to do this manually. Like search and now you've got the AI agent who reads your portfolio and tells you. I mean, life is much better like this, right? So
yeah,
we need to work with AI. I mean, this is what I keep saying, like we
uh,
shouldn't be afraid, but adapt to it. So
it
it's quite
really
interesting.
saves a lot of time. Yes, that's for sure.
Mhm.
So we have protocols like X402 that are already building the infrastructure for AI agents to transact with each other across chains without the need for any human intervention. And it's a future where we, the people, we set a goal for the AI, and the AI actually executes the plan. And you have blockchain keeping everything accountable. And
Oh,
also within the next 5 years, we should not ignore the DePIN narrative, the decentralized physical infrastructure. I think that this is one of the most exciting movements in the space. So instead of relying again on big corporations to build wireless networks, storage systems, sensor grids, communities are doing this collectively. So people can deploy hardware like hotspots or servers and earn tokens for contributing to the network. And you have AI again that optimizes how these networks function, making them more efficient, more resilient than their centralized counterparties. So this is a complete shift in how physical infrastructure is built and owned.
indeed.
And I think after all of this actually materializes and takes a center stage in our life, that's when crypto becomes invisible. The end game is when nobody says, I'm into crypto or I'm using crypto. It simply becomes the new infrastructure behind payments, behind identity, behind the global markets, and behind, of course, artificial intelligence. So crypto becomes essentially the trust layer of the digital economy and is powering the world quietly, reliably, and also in the background.
That's a powerful vision. Crypto as a foundation, not just the product. Let's bring into the present. What is already changing in traditional finance because of crypto?
Well, I would say the biggest change is happening underneath. It's actually the plumbing of the financial systems. So for decades, value was always being moved through a lot of intermediaries. And crypto compresses that chain into a single global and transparent ledger. I
Mhm.
mean, just look at the stable coins. They are the clearest example. Stablecoins have become the new global settlement layer used for remittances, for payroll, B2B payments, savings, the yield generation, and more. So the total market cap of stablecoins is around $300 billion and is
Wow.
actually growing fast right now. And stablecoins are able to move value faster than any traditional payment network, and adoption is accelerating rapidly through modern neobanks and new financial tools. On the other hand, we have institutional products like Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs that have also changed the landscape. Suddenly, crypto is inside retirement funds, sovereign wealth funds, corporate treasuries, and this normalization has made crypto part of mainstream financial portfolios. And perhaps it also helps to stabilize long-term volatility because institutional capital tends to be a little bit more structured and less, let's say, risky and speculative.
Mhm.
Another important thing to mention is tokenization that is also reshaping the way that markets work. So government bonds, real estate, and other traditional assets are now being moved on chain. It's bringing transparency, liquidity, 24-hour access to markets that used to be quite slow and heavily restricted. And on the other hand, you have nation states stepping in. Several countries are experimenting with their blockchain based settlements, tokenized government bonds, digital asset reserves. Even central banks are, of course, exploring their own on chain money. They are calling this CBDC.
Yep.
And you have also recent announcements. I mean, even the Czech National Bank announced a few days ago that they're going to have a crypto allocation, and this actually shows how hard this has come. So I think it's going to be a race, as we have seen, races in the past for gold. Now we're going to see some races for digital gold in the near future. And all of this is creating a very um, a hybrid financial system. Familiar on the surface, but far more efficient in the background.
Exactly. It's not replacing finance as some people might think. It's actually modernizing it. I mean, it's like you said, it's hybrid, much better, more transparent, and we're gonna talk about more interesting things now. So, crypto recently updated its tax rule. What do people need to keep in mind on this topic?
Well, I think the most important thing is to understand how your activity is being classified. If you
Mhm.
are investing, if you're trading, if you're staking, or you're mining, because each category has its own, tax implications. When we're talking about Cyprus, we have a most recent reform. This is going to be starting in January 2026. And basically, it says that the Cyprus companies that are disposing of crypto assets will be paying a flat 8% tax on those profits. So it's good news for Cypriot companies. And on the other hand, though, they are also increasing the corporate tax from 12.5 to 15%. And for individuals, we still do not have any clear guidance, but we're hoping that we're moving towards clarity and standardization. So I think the most important thing to note is keep proper records, understand your classification, and use the license platforms. Compliance is not a burden. It's actually a path to legitimize your earnings and look forward for the long term.
That's clear and simple. I mean, perfect. So let's move to the big question now. When does Bitcoin reach everyone? We're talking about 8 billion people, about roughly.
Uh, that's a good question. Well, I think it depends how we define the word reach. How we're gonna reach everyone in the world. If we mean everyone owning Bitcoin directly, I think that's gonna take time, maybe
Yeah.
decades. But if we mean it's gonna reach them or influence their life in some way, maybe the infrastructure, then I think that Bitcoin is already on that path.
I mean,
The
allow me to say something interesting here. So, like you said, I agree 100% that for the whole world to actually own Bitcoin, that might take a couple of years. I agree. But since we know now, like even in Cyprus with those Bitcoin ATMs that they're everywhere, you just send crypto as a barcode, and the one who doesn't know about crypto will get them cash. So already there, the people who knows about crypto and can is creating new jobs, new opportunities for people, and you don't need to even have a crypto wallet or even know about crypto. I mean, that's why there's more reasons for people to get into crypto for all these benefits, like it simplifies everything. And like you said, influencing, this is one of the influence point. So I'm interested to hear more of on your input on that.
Well, I think the first way that Bitcoin reaches people is through its role as a monetary layer.
Yeah.
More countries and institutions are studying Bitcoin as a reserve asset or as a settlement tool. I mean, even organizations that used to condemn it, now they're actually buying millions and millions of
Millions, yes.
Bitcoins. I'm actually referring to the Harvard University.
Oh yes, I read that recently. Yes. Yeah, it was a
So
good one.
shows a complete shift in the sentiment surrounding digital assets. And of course, it comes through all the changes that we discussed when it comes to the regulation, the education around these technologies, and so on. Another way that is actually influencing people, and this is already happening in a quite a rapid way, is through stablecoins.
Mm,
More people's first contact with blockchain may not be through Bitcoin. They don't want to touch it because maybe it's too volatile. They don't understand exactly what it is, but they do understand the dollar, and if it's just a dollar that is running on a blockchain, and you can get it much cheaper, then and you can use it in a much cheaper way,
exactly.
then people will prefer it, especially for remittances. Um, Another thing is AI, of course. So
Mhm.
in the coming years, I think we'll have AI assistants managing savings, payments, investments. Our everyday financial decisions will be run through these AI uses. So these systems will, of course, prefer naturally digital assets in order to do their work, and this makes, of course, Bitcoin a perfect underlying layer. In that world, AI becomes, of course, the infrastructure, and Bitcoin or crypto, the principles behind Bitcoin become the engine. And of course, we have the nation state momentum. We also discussed ETFs making Bitcoin a normal investment, and the governments are exploring it as a hedge or a strategic reserve. So when nation states adopt something, you no longer rely on individual wallets. You get macro level adoption that scales rapidly. So in the end, Bitcoin reaching 8 billion people is not going to be by giving every person in the world a wallet and a few Satoshis, but by becoming the invisible foundation beneath the global economy. So, and just like somebody says, I'm using the internet when they're
That's a good one. Yes.
be saying I'm using Bitcoin. It's gonna be the new way that we transact, the new way that we store value, new money.
100%. I mean, that's such a refreshing way to see it, Adoption through infrastructure and influence, not just ownership. So now let's close with this. Is crypto better or worse for AML? And I actually have an input on that.
Well, it's dramatically better. Blockchain is the most transparent financial system ever created. In traditional finance, records are fragmented, they are hidden behind institutional walls. And when investigating, cross-border transactions, this can take months. On a blockchain, every non-privacy transaction is permanent, it's public, and it's traceable forever. Even if you delete your wallet, even if you try to cover your trail, the trail remains. It's on the blockchain, it's on chain, it's distributed among tens of thousands of computers, and it will always be there.
And I have to
Uh,
say something really interesting about this. When it comes to cash, the old system, this is 100% untraceable, right? I mean, anyone can just do whatever they want with the cash, it's untraceable. Now, once we move, and we will move to let's say, stablecoins, let's talk a bit about USDT and probably USDC also. They are able to freeze large amount. I mean, this is so beautiful. Like, can you freeze the cash money? No. So corruption is ruling nowadays. But soon all this is gonna go away and the whole world is gonna get better. Crypto is actually making the whole world better. So I'm interested to hear more on this topic.
well, you have a good point there. So I would say that distributed ledger technologies create a shared global ledger where regulators, auditors, law enforcement, companies, they all see the same information, and it strikes a balance between transparency and perhaps, if you want to call it, responsible privacy. And this is something that the legacy system has always struggled with.
100%.
And also with AI, again, I'm mentioning AI so many times
It's
today.
always there.
AML is becoming a lot more proactive. Patterns can be identified before they even become threats. So instead of reacting after the damage has been done, the system can, actually warn us after identifying a few patterns and giving us, a heads up in order to check. So the truth is exactly opposite of what people think. Crypto is not about hiding crime. It's about exposing it. Yes, the crypto world is full of various criminal activities, whether they are rug pulls, whether they are
Yeah.
sending money to people that they shouldn't be doing, but it leaves a permanent digital fingerprint. So it's the world's first self-auditing financial system.
That's the perfect myth buster to end on, George. George, that was really incredible. Thank you for breaking everything down with such clarity.
Thank you so much. And to everyone listening, the goal is not to replace the financial system, is to actually upgrade it. And this is something that we're working towards at Teroxx.
Awesome. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, learn, and if you got any question, drop them in the comment. I'll be happy to look into them. So this has been Crypto Talks with Crypto Inspector. Crypto Inspector is out. See you the next one.